All right, let's dive straight into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating breakdown of the early retirement fantasy. We're going to contrast the psychological hurdles with the actual concrete math required to pull the whole thing off. Now, for so many of us, retiring early sounds like the ultimate dream, right? But as you'll see, the reality of achieving it often triggers a totally unexpected set of challenges.
We all love the idea of escaping the daily grind. The concept of having enough screw-you money so you can just comfortably walk away from a toxic boss or a stressful job is incredibly appealing. But the reality of actually doing absolutely nothing for the next 40 or 50 years, well, it's a lot more complicated. It sounds blissful to just be done, but the data and observations from these early retirement communities suggest that totally stopping work at age 40 is a massive, massive psychological shock to the system.
There's this great comparison that perfectly captures the irony here. It's like a marathon runner crossing the finish line of a grueling race and saying, "I am never running again." The type of highly ambitious person who can squirrel away 50 to 60% of their income for 15 straight years is, by definition, incredibly goal-oriented. They're just too ambitious to go full stop. Sitting on a beach gets old really fast. You can go on all the international trips you want, but eventually, you know what? You just want a McDonald's hamburger and to sleep in your own bed.
Moving right along to Section 1, the dream versus reality, looking specifically at the FIRE spectrum. Let's see what it actually takes for your assets to reliably cover your living expenses. So there is a massive, and I mean massive, gap in lifestyle expectations within the FIRE community, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. On one end, we have what's called lean FIRE, where individuals aim to live very simply, basically surviving on a strict budget with a nest egg of around $750,000. On the totally opposite end, we have fat FIRE. These are people who feel they need $10 million or more just to maintain a high-end lifestyle and actually feel secure. That's a staggering difference in what people consider enough. But what happens when you actually reach the top of that incredibly high mountain? That brings us to Section 2, the mindset trap, and this concept of the moving goalpost. Just try to wrap your head around this number for a second. $14 million in liquid assets. You'd think you'd be set for life, right? Yet the people holding this kind of fortune, often found posting in Reddit's Fat Fire communities, are literally going online saying they're still too scared to pull the trigger and retire. They've amassed a level of wealth most people can't even fathom, and yet they're completely paralyzed by the fear of the future. An outside observer looking at these forums might just laugh and say, these are the most out-of-touch idiots I've ever met. They got 14 million and they're saying it's not enough. How could someone with that much money think it's insufficient? Even though the math checks out perfectly, like a $6 million nest egg easily covering $100,000 in yearly expenses, they've become trapped in a mental prison. They're entirely controlled by the exact same financial anxiety they originally set out to escape. The money didn't buy them peace, it just bought them a brand new kind of worry. What's really happening here is that they're suffering from moving goalpost syndrome. Because their sole absolute purpose for over a decade was hitting a specific, massive dollar amount, actually reaching it leaves them feeling totally empty. Their identity is so wrapped up in accumulating wealth that when the job is done, they just invent a bigger number to keep themselves going. They literally cannot let go of the one thing that was keeping them driven. So, how do we fix this? Well, to avoid this existential crisis, you have to let go of the dollar amount. Let's jump to Section 3, the purpose antidote, and building a foundation beyond money. You really have to lean into these essential life pillars. Believe it or not, some people in these extreme savings communities actually avoid starting families, getting married, or having kids because they just view those things as expensive deterrents to their financial goals. But actually, embracing meaningful work, dedicating yourself to family, prioritizing your physical health, investing time in reach relationships, and grounding yourself in faith, these are the things that give you a deeper purpose. They make you a selfless, well-rounded person whose identity extends far, far beyond just a portfolio balance.
Okay, let's bring it all back down to earth with Section 4, the real numbers. What does the practical math for retiring at 50 actually look like for a normal person?
Because honestly, the key to this entire equation is your monthly burn rate. Average household expenses generally sit between $3,000 and $7,000 a month. So if you aren't milking your nest egg to fund some wildly extravagant lifestyle, your target number is significantly more achievable than the $10 or $14 million those fat fire folks are sweating over.
Think of this as a sort of retirement stair-step for your 50s. $1 million covers a low cost of living or modest lifestyle. $2 million gets you a really solid middle-class lifestyle. And $3 million provides a higher, very comfortable lifestyle. This works as a highly effective blanket target.
For most folks, a $3 million nest egg is going to get you very far, and it would take a really long time to deplete if you simply live sensibly and only take out what you actually need.
Now, of course, you'll hear prominent personal finance experts like Suze Orman throw around $5 million as the ultimate goal. And yeah, that would certainly be comforting, but telling the average person they need $5 million by age 40 or 50 is an insane, highly aspirational target. It's totally understandable how a number like that can just completely discourage people before they even start.
But hey, if you are young and super disciplined, hitting that massive aspirational wealth actually is mathematically possible. It just requires a very specific path. First, build a strong household income between 80 and 150 grand. Second, strictly avoid consumer debt. Third, work aggressively to pay off your mortgage. And finally, and this is the big one, once that house is paid off, invest what would have been your mortgage payment every single month for the rest of your working life. It's a proven, steady formula for compounding massive wealth.
Which brings us to a really crucial point in Section 5, building wealth for impact, the ultimate goal.
Look, accumulating money isn't inherently bad, and having abundant wealth absolutely should not be villainized. Earning well past your basic needs actually empowers you to do incredible things. It allows you to create lasting generational security for your kids. It gives you the power to generously support nonprofits, your church, or causes you care deeply about in your community. When you look at it through this lens, money transforms from being this constant source of anxiety into a truly powerful tool for good.
So as you map out your own financial future, I want to leave you with this ultimate litmus test. Are you building a nest egg just to escape a life you hate? Or are you building it to fund your true purpose? Answering that honestly, that's the real secret to genuine financial independence.